Welcome to iLectureOnline. Here we have our fourth example of how to solve this very same circuit. This time we're going to use what we call source transformation. What we're going to do here is take a look at this left side of the circuit right here where we have a current source and where we have the inductor. And notice we can take that portion of the circuit right here and make it look like that. This is the equivalent of the left side of that circuit. So we're going to change a current source to a voltage source, and instead of having the impedance here, the inductor that's in parallel to the current source, we'll have it in series with the voltage source. And to find the voltage, we simply take the current source and multiply it times the impedance. It turns out that this portion of the circuit will have the exact same effect on the circuit as this portion of the circuit will. Notice that in both cases, the impedance is exactly the same. So we simply take the impedance here, which is the inductor, which has impedance of J8, and we then put it in series with the voltage source there. So the way to do this now is then to go ahead and calculate what this voltage source is. Once we have the voltage source, then we simply solve this series circuit instead of this parallel circuit. We do have two voltage sources in there, but it's at least on a single mesh, on a single loop, so it's easier to solve. So starting out with calculating the voltage, I'm going to then say that the voltage of the source that goes in here, that will go in here right here, is equal to the current, which is 5 amps with a phase angle of 10 degrees, and we multiply it times Z, which will be equal to a magnitude of 8 with a phase angle of 90 degrees. In other words, this is equal to 40 with a phase angle of 100 degrees, and that goes over here, so this becomes 40 volts with a phase angle of 100 degrees. And now we'll go ahead and solve the current through this circuit. Notice that the current flowing through the capacitor and the resistor here will be the same as the current flowing through here. In other words, the current that we're trying to find in this loop, I, is going to be equal to I2, which is going to be the current that we're looking for. Okay, what do we do next? Well, now we have to solve this circuit right here. So we can say that I in the circuit, which in this case is going to be the current in this entire loop, which is equal to I2, is going to be equal to the sum of all the voltages in the loop divided by the sum of all the impedances in the loop. And let's just call it sub I and sub I so we don't confuse it with what we have over there. So this becomes equal to, notice here we have, if we go around the loop in this direction, let's go around the loop in this direction, then we have an addition of this voltage, that's a plus 40 volts with a phase angle of 100 degrees, and then we subtract from that the voltage over here because we go from the positive to negative terminal, so it's going to be minus. And actually, you know what we should do to make things a little bit easier? Let's go ahead and convert this into the real and imaginary part. So we have 100 degrees, take the cosine of that, and multiply that times 40. That gives us a minus 6.95. So this is equal to minus 6.95 plus J. 100 degrees, take the sine, times 40. That's 39.39, like that. So instead of writing it like this, to save ourselves a little bit of time, and we'll just go ahead, because we have to subtract the two, we're summing them up, so we're going to write this as a minus 6.95 plus J 39.39, like this, and then we're going to subtract from that this voltage right here because we're going to the positive negative terminal, and that's going to be 5 minus J 8.66. And now we divide that by the total impedance of that circuit. So we have J8 minus J4 and plus 3. Okay, so this is going to be equal to 6 minus 5, that's minus 11.95 plus J, let's see here, that's 66, that would be 90, that's 05, that's 48.05, all divided by, that would be 3 plus J4. Okay, now we have to reconvert that into the magnitude and phase angle format so we can divide one by the other. So we have 11.95 squared plus 48.05 squared. Take the square root of that, we get 49.51. Ooh, but now we have this negative here, so we have to be careful here. So I'm going to pull out the negative, so this becomes positive and this becomes negative, but the magnitude will be 49.51. With a phase angle, now be careful here, because when we pull out the negative, this is not positive, this is negative, so we have a negative phase angle of 48.05 divided by 11.95. That gives us, in the inverse tangent of that, negative 76.03 degrees, and divide that by, here that will be magnitude of 5 with a phase angle of 53.13 degrees. Now we divide one by the other, so this is equal to negative 49.51 divided by 5 gives us 9.90 with a phase angle of, we have 76.03 plus 53.13, that's going to be negative, of course, minus 129.16 degrees. And now to get rid of this negative, we're going to add 180 to that. And so we get this is equal to 9.90 with a phase angle of 50.84 degrees. And of course, that's in terms of amps, and that will be the current that we're looking for in the original circuit, which we called I2. So I kind of like this method. It's a lot shorter, it seems. And of course, in this particular example, it was perfect because we had a situation here where we can take this portion of the circuit, which was two things in parallel, the current source and the inductor, and write it like this and turn that into a single loop circuit, which of course is a lot easier to solve. And there it is. Again, the very same answer we had in the previous three examples, so we must be on track. That's how it's done.